Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching Fanboy.
A fanboy, etc.
FanboyNation.
Dot, I assume Tom.
Listen, man, we are talking about Jury number 2 right now, the Clint Eastwood movie. Just watching the trailer, I feel the intensity. Like, I'm uncomfortable in watching the trailer. I was like, this is like, how do I put this? It's kind of like an updated version of 12 Angry Men.
Yeah, in many regards it is. But with the Clint Eastwood twist to make you think, and because it is a thriller, it does grab you, and I think the trailer has done such a great job of really capturing the intensity and the moral dilemma that the audiences, I think, are going to be able to chew on when they watch this film.
Man, just that trailer alone, I was like, I have to see this film. I wish I knew ahead of time. I would have begged for a set visit just to see the intensity of what you guys went through.
On set we kept it pretty light. It was actually a fun set, and for me, it was just more of a marvel of how the hell did I get here, man? Look at over there in that corner is Clint Eastwood and Toni, Collette, and J.K. Simmons, and Nicholas Hoult. I get to play with those guys, and so I had to also kind of, okay, you're in the film, you got the job, pretend like you've been here before. You're not the weirdo from Reno 911 right now. Let's put that actor dramatic hat on right now. But it was such a cool set and such an amazing experience working with such an icon as Clint Eastwood is.
Oh, absolutely. I could only imagine, like 1/10 of my imagination probably isn't as great as the reality of it.
Yeah, it was great. And it was also just so cool to actually get to know the people. Got to know Toni Collette a little bit, and her from Muriel's Wedding. She's a music fan of ABBA, but she's such a Taylor Swift fan, learning that, or learning that J.K. Simmons is a musical theater nerd like me, and getting to know, some of the guys, Clint Eastwood, he's got some amazing stories about, Hollywood of yesteryear. And so for me, I just get to soak all that up and, do the job, but also learning so much about the people. And I that's what I love about working on projects.
Right. And, this is an ensemble cast. I mean, Nick is primarily, taking the film in the direction it's supposed to, but also, Gabriel Beso. The very first movie I ever saw him in was American Wrestler. And I was telling my dad's cousin who wanted to see it, I was like, this is kind of your life story. Maybe you should avoid this one. But Nick was great in that. I think that was the first thing I saw him in. And now being the prisoner and this being falsely accused, it's got to be a different level for him as well.
I bet. Why don't we get Gabriel on the speed dial right now and ask how it went? It's a solid film with people you like watching work, and it's not about this new genre of superhero films or supernatural films. That's fine and dandy, but it seems like it's really oversaturated right now in the film industry. And this one's just dealing with human issues and humans working it out, and the judicial system, and what we think about it, and how we bring some of our own personal prejudices when you are on a jury, and the moral dilemma of what that can be. Nicholas Hoult and Toni Collette, it's so cool to kind of see their reunion They did About a Boy so many years ago, playing mother and son, and now they play opposites, and they both have these moral dilemmas that they're going through. I get to play a character who is very suspicious of everything, of the judicial system, of Nicholas Hoult and I get to have some really fun head-to-head scenes together, and I just really enjoyed working with him.
What's it like doing the transition? Because we primarily know you for comedic roles, and you've done voiceover work. You've been in Batman Caped Crusader, speaking of superhero stuff, and and Nick has been the Beast in the X-Men franchise. And as things, they always say comedy is harder than drama, but how do you not only keep the levity on set with such an intense type of film, but also make that transition and put on a different hat of going, I'm so often known for this, but let's show people that I have range?
Yeah, I've been asked that a little bit. And to what you were saying, yeah, comedy is harder. We live in drama. We live, not being funny all the time, and so I find that comedic actors, when you have a comedic actor, especially when some of us from Reno 911, where we were improvising that show, that stuff was coming up from the dome. So a lot of that is just us, and comedy is so subjective. Drama is very difficult. Not to take anything from drama, but comedy is harder. And I'm from Minneapolis. I come from a theater background. A lot of Minneapolis audiences know some of my dramatic work, but Hollywood doesn't work that way. Sometimes you gotta get in where you fit in. The comedy door opened up for me, and I went in through there. And so now it's really cool that I get a chance to flex a little bit of my dramatic muscle. And Clint Eastwood saw my audition tape, sent it in, and he told me that I was his Marcus. I was his Marcus King, the role, and it was just so cool that I am able to go through this dramatic door. And I never thought it would be Clint Eastwood that would give me the opportunity to show that. But I'm so very thankful, and so very thankful that it's a movie that I actually like and really love. Nicholas Hoult is dunking all over this film. It's really amazing to see him do his work, and I get a couple threes myself up, so it's really great.
Yeah. Listen, from what I can tell, a few of them were sunk from half court.
I got a little Steph Curry in me. Yes. The light-skinned bomber. But it's so funny. Clint was telling me the story. We were bonding over our love of music, and during the pandemic, I started to pick up the piano a little bit, and I know that he composes music, and he did such an amazing score for Gran Torino. And we were talking about our love of music, and then he shared the story about his friendship with Sammy Davis Jr. And Sammy Davis Jr. was just such an amazing actor, dancer, but musician in his own right. And he told me about how Gary Cooper, the country, Western movie star, passed on this gun to Sammy Davis Jr., and then Sammy Davis Jr. passed it on to Clint. It was just so cool just to hear those kinds of stories about Hollywood of yesteryear, and how when you get to work with a Clint Eastwood, how you can be tied to Gary Cooper somehow in some way, because I got to work with Clint.
It's just that 2 degrees of separation.
Yes.
Yeah. And 1 degree from Sammy.
Now you're tied to Sammy Davis Jr. too. Now,
I'll
Cooper,
take it.
Yes.
Yeah. The thing is, you're from Minneapolis, so like I thought music goes without question because Prince and Morris Day and the Time and everybody else that came out of there.
Yes. Hey, Minneapolis secretly is one of the most creative uh, states and cities there is, because it's so damn cold. There's nothing else to do, man. You learn whatever it is that you want so you can get out or to keep warm. And I think Prince said, evil doesn't really hang out in Minneapolis because it's so cold. But yeah, I makes me think about Friday nights in the 90s at Paisley Park. You'd get on your pager, Prince is playing at Paisley Park. Get there. So you get there around 12:30, 1 o'clock. Hundreds of people are there. Someone's out there picking people to come in. You come in. You were here last week. You don't get to come in. You come in. And I got chosen to come in one night. And the man out of nowhere appears with the band. You're waiting around. He's got different delicious foods out for everyone. No alcohol, but, he's got his carrots and celery trays out, and you munch on that, and then about an hour he shows up with the band and he rocks out until about 7 a.m. It was a magical time. That stuff, speaking of the music of Minneapolis, Prince was, nobody better.
No, just that level of like, I'm going to have an impromptu concert, word is out, come on over. That just blows me away. Like, one story I heard about Prince was that Prince was a Jehovah's Witness and that he actually went ministering door to door. And that would freak me out if I opened the door and just all 5 foot, 2.5 inches in heels of Prince is at my door wanting to talk to me.
Yeah, I've heard the same story. I grew up a Jehovah's Witness myself, and I never saw him going door to door. My neighborhood, and yeah, Prince was a quite a performer. I did one time get a chance to perform with him. One Paisley Park. I think he heard me harmonizing with the band and he said, "Come on up." So I go up and now I'm singing with the band and him. I think it was Alphabet Street is the song that we were singing. And sung the song. They're transitioning into a new song. And I'm still up there doing it, whatever, killing it. And I'm like, "Are you still up here?" So I was like, "Okay, yes, sir. I will be leaving right here. I will be exiting over here." But it was such a cool experience.
And that just blows me away. See, I would have never found that out if I didn't know you were from Minnesota right now, or from Minneapolis, and going, all right, we got a Prince story out of it. Perfect.
Yeah, I keep that one under the vest. But it's a real cool memory. I've gotten a chance to know Morris Day a little bit through Instagram. What a character he is, and what a story he has. And you go back and watch Purple Rain. Morris Day is dunking all over that film too. Just so funny, so hilarious, such an original character, and such a cool musician as well.
Like, let's go back to 10-year-old Cedric, and it's like, did you ever think at one point, hey, I got on stage to perform with Prince, and now I'm making a movie with Clint Eastwood that's going to be at AFI?
No, I did. I did not. When you get so caught up in the work. You get so caught up in, okay, let's keep going. let's do this and let's do that and let's choose right here. Let's do a fun animated series here, or you know, you get really wrapped up in your career of what's next, that sometimes it's kind of nice to look back and go, wow, I got a chance to work with Bob Odenkirk and Minnie Driver and Tom Lennon and Niecy Nash and Clint Eastwood and Will Ferrell, and you know, some of these adventures I've been able to do is pretty cool. I guess I've tricked some people that I know what I'm doing.
And you tricked yourself into being calm on set.
That too. Well, you know, I am an actor, so you gotta, you know, sometimes act like you know what you're doing, but inside you're like, can't believe it. This is great.
Like, I don't have a poker face. So if I'm sitting there on set with you, Clint Eastwood, Nick. Yeah, I've interviewed Nick a couple of times for the X-Men stuff. So all right, I was like, I can be calm with Nick now. But then Toni and everybody else, I'd be like, oh my God, they're going to kick me out of here.
It's pretty cool. You know, that Nicholas Hoult, here's the thing about Nick. I love what he does, you know, on camera. Really solid actor, really solid performances, subtle, nuanced, but how Nick moves around off camera is also really cool. I really respect people that can do both. Amazing on camera, but also treat your crew and your cast with respect, and you can tell that he really enjoys the work. And I gotta say, look out, Oscars, look out.
Yeah, I could see it coming. This is just an incredible idea of what's going to happen. And to sit there and with a story like this of being called to the jury, I'm not giving anything away, it's already in the trailer, but being called to be on a jury that you're the one that's possibly guilty of the crime. And
yeah, you learn this in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
So we're not giving away the premise of it. But what happens after is the ride that you know, that you go on. And so you already you know, you already know about what this dilemma is, but how we navigate it, and the characters that influence Nicholas's character and Toni's, and the great Chris Messina. I can't forget about him, and Zoe Deutsch too. Her performance in this is really wonderful. Like I said, it's a cast of solid performers that you want to see work, and then Clint Eastwood is directing all of us. It's pretty magical.
It almost feels like when we were kids and you'd hear, you know, an actor lose their mind because they're like, oh my God, I was in a Woody Allen movie before the controversy. And then now we're at that point where we're like, oh my God, I get to be in a Clint Eastwood movie. And it's almost seems to have that same vibe of like, you know, as soon as you see that one name, Eastwood, Scorsese, you know, everybody that you're like, oh my God, I get to be in this movie. This is like it for me, that like, you know, everyone's all excited to be a part of it.
Definitely. We lovingly call him the boss on set, and we all wanted to do a really great job for him. There aren't that many 90-year-old directors, if there are any at all. And I can safely say that this is a solid film in the canon of Eastwood films. I'm very proud of it, and I think it's a really cool colorful feather in the cap of Mr. Clint, of the boss.
You know, when you sit there and you're on set, you're a part of it, you're in the moment creating this. And then you know the type of work that you're capable of doing, the cast is capable of doing, and then Mr. Eastwood is capable of putting together. And now you've become an audience member. How do you remove yourself from your initial performance to now sit back and go, wow, look at what we pulled off? Or is it even like you're not even recognizing yourself as Marcus on screen at that point?
I guess if I'm trying to figure out your question here is, are you asking how do I separate myself from as the viewer as opposed to
as
the
a performer. Yeah, because like when you're in it and you're working together, it's one thing, but now you get to sit back and see the final product, and you're like, wow, this is what we pulled off. Like now you're an audience member in comparison to being the performer.
Yeah, I'm not that good at that because I don't care too much to look at myself on screen. But as an actor, you have to. I think you should because there are some things you can't get away with, and some things you can. You don't know what you look like, in this skin, and so for me, I need to see some of my performances, and so I look at it as an overall, not just zero in on me. I can talk to you endlessly about the zits and the pimples and the lines that I got. Like, oh man, why didn't I cover that up there? Or why did I blink there? There's so many things that an actor kind of goes through when you watch yourself. But as an overall picture, I really, really enjoyed it. And I love the process of it. Clint is rather hands-off when it comes to some of the acting. He trusts that I watched your audition tape. I trust that you know your character more than I do. And when you feel that trust as an actor, you can fly. You feel a lot more comfortable. He doesn't carry the I'm Clint Eastwood and I've been working in this industry longer than you were alive and I know way more than you. He respects your choices and helps you figure out certain motivations and where to look and what to do. There's a bridge scene that Nick and I have, and after a couple 3 takes, he comes up to me, he's like, hey, you're fucking killing it, and that was like, wow, that felt so great. And that also just relaxes you and puts you in a place where, okay, let's really give it to him because the boss is confident in what I'm doing.
I think you just answered my next question. The question was going to be, what's the moment on set that you sit there and go, this is a lifelong memory. I got to call mom or my sister or my wife or my kids or whatever and go, oh my God, this happened and I will never forget it. And that sounds like that's what it would have been.
That was it. And that was like my first or second day. We're shooting in Savannah. It's 107 degrees. It's so damn hot. And Nick and I barely know each other. We've talked a little bit about the scene, about what we want to do. And, Clint Eastwood gives you that compliment, and it makes you on this cloud, puts you on a high for the rest of the film, that you feel confident that you are able to do the job that he's entrusted you in. And it's pretty great, and not in the cards that I thought I set out for myself. Not in the least.
All right, I gotta leave you with this. I know the movie premieres at AFI on October 27th, and it's coming to theaters on November 1st for Jury number 2. I got my popcorn. I'm ready to go. I'm sitting in the theater. Are there any moments that I need to like hug the bucket so I don't like freak out and chuck it on somebody?
Yeah, no, the whole thing. You hold on to that popcorn. I just think it'll harken back to those 90s films that you love, The Firm, Shawshank Redemption, Silence of the Lambs, A Few Good Men, those solid films with solid acting and with a great premise. And I'm really, really excited for people to see this and to enjoy what we've created for you.
And let's throw the boss a bone, Unforgiven.
Here's the thing also, which was also another cool little story that Nick, we had a day off, and Nick rented out this huge movie theater, and the cast and all of the crew, we all watched Unforgiven together. That's another, great experience that I can, put in the journal and think about. It was just such a cool thing to do. Watch a Clint Eastwood movie while you're filming a Clint Eastwood movie.
Cedric, thank you so much for your time. At AFI, October 27th, in theaters, November 1st, from Warner Brothers, Jury #2. Where can we find you on social media if we want to connect with you and check out what you also have to say about Morris Day and the Time after we watch Jury Duty?
Sure. It's I'm at Cedric Yarbrough on Instagram and on X/Twitter and on TikTok. So
awesome. Cedric, thank you so much, man. It's great seeing you again.
yeah, good to see you. Take care. Thank you.